Hi, good evening. This is Balachandra from Helios event. So thank you very much for joining. Uh, I don't know how many people have joined there. So thank you very much for joining. And before we begin on this, I'm promising one thing, that I will be able to add some value today to your valuable time which you spent with me. So the before we begin, I want to start with a disclaimer. This is my first Facebook live session, so whatever mumbling, fumbling, whatever that, please excuse me on all that front. And see, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about what is the kind of a small value which I can add to your business by giving you some strategy or some solutions to you or some vision to your business in marketing. That is what I am looking forward to, and that's what I want you to take on, rather than judging me on my presentation skills and things like that. Yeah. And a second disclaimer I want to talk about is, like, if you already have a marketing department and you're running a big business and all that, this may not be valuable for you, but you can still be there. But this is primarily targeted towards micropreneur or a solopreneur or an independent professionals who have this challenge about having a marketing strategy for them, or they don't have a vision, marketing vision for them. So this is primarily targeted towards that kind of business, small business owners. Today, I'm going to talk about four different things which you will learn in this session, or you will take back in this session. The first thing is, as a small business owner, I will try to highlight what are the various challenges broadly, we face as micro entrepreneurs. So we will go deeper on, marketing challenges, what are we face. Second thing is, how do we overcome that and then dominate in our domain? When I say domain, it means your niche area, your market area. The micro domain is what we call it as. So everybody has a domain, right? How do we dominate in that domain? Maybe some kind of ambition or some kind of a pathway roadmap. I'll try to give it to you. And one important thing is, we also will try to analyze. A lot of people, have this. A lot of business owners have this issue of they don't understand what marketing is and what is the difference between marketing and sales. If you are a management graduate, if you are like marketing professional in the past, yes, you might understand, but then most of the business owners, they don't really differentiate. So we'll try to clarify that. I'll try to clarify that, and then I'm going to talk about, last thing I'm going to talk about is a new concept which I recently learned and discovered, and it's really exciting for me, is a concept called teaching is marketing. So I've basically launched a new Facebook group called Teach to Reach. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, what you will get becoming part of that group. So let's proceed. And before we go further on this, I just wanted to give you small background about me. I'm a proud father of a daughter and a husband of a supportive wife. I'm a science graduate, management graduate in marketing and finance, and I recently did some learning on computers and multimedia and all that. I recently started a small journey on digital marketing. I'm as on today. About my profession, I started as a what do you call tuition master long back when I was in maybe like 9th standard, and I aspired to become an Air Force officer. Later on, I failed there, and then I became a computer programmer, then multimedia faculty, and after my MBA, I had a small stint in advertising, and then I moved on to events, and then last 20 years I've been in events. So I'm an event manager by passion and profession, and for last 20 years I traveled across 11 countries and worked, I think, more than 50 plus brands, and I would have worked more than 1,000 plus campaigns for various corporates in these 11 countries. So that's about a small thing about me. As I said, this is not about me. This is about your business. It's about the marketing challenges as small businessmen you guys are facing, and then how do I add value? How do I give you some inputs? How do you overcome these challenges? So let's go deeper on these challenges. What are the various challenges? I've basically categorized into five different broadly the challenges what we face, as a micropreneur. The first thing is time. The kind of, I mean, I spoke to a couple of businessmen, and I really realized that the kind of time the small business owner spends in operations, in finance, and running behind clients, it's really very high. And as a business owner, he is spending very little time on marketing, the one which actually will drive his business towards growth. He spends very little time there. And uh, on an average, I mean, he spends around 20 to 30% of his time in operations. He spends around 10 to 20% in time around looking at books of accounts and finance and things like that. And almost the same amount of time, 20 to 30%, he spends on managing business, managing sales teams, and sales proposals, and those kind of things, I mean, which can be taken care by somebody else. You don't need to be there as a business owner. You don't have to do that. You can delegate that. But then this is what he spends his time on. And marketing, very negligible. I think, like, it's around 4 to 5% or maximum 10% he would have spent on marketing time. See, the entire focus is managing business rather than driving business towards growth. That has to change. So I strongly believe, the business owner or the entrepreneur, primary focus should be on marketing. And to do effective marketing, there is also a hindsight. I mean, he needs to spend time in learning new technology, about new marketing platforms, about his industry, about as a businessman, and the leadership skills and all that. So primarily, I mean, the businessman does not spend time on learning. He does not spend time on marketing. And whereas these two areas are the thing, I mean, are the two important aspects which will drive the business to the next level, and he really does not spend time there. So I feel, I mean, every businessman should spend at least 2 to 3 hours every day in his schedule, in strategizing a marketing plan and learning. So I came out with a kind of a small golden hour called 6 to 9. That is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day. The businessman or the entrepreneur should spend in learning, or end strategizing his marketing plan. Morning to evening, 9 to 6, you take care of your business. You run behind operations, finance, and all that. But you need to allocate evening 6 to 9, that is 3 golden hours, to strategize your marketing plan. So that is what will really take you to the next level. When you're not thinking about your business, you don't expect others to think about your business, right? So that's where that's one of the challenge, I think. And we can definitely solve that by allocating a very clear defined time. But I'm suggesting 6 to 9. If you have some other time, that's fine, but then you really have to really focus on that. Second thing is, like, as we said, I mean, the businessman, I mean, small and medium businessman does not even know the difference between marketing and sales. I mean, unless you're like involved in a kind of a profession where you are day to day talking to marketing people, or you are a management graduate, you really don't know the difference between marketing and sales. One of my mentor beautifully puts this: in a game of golf, there are two shots. One is that initial shot which takes the ball towards the hole, and the second shot is the ball, I mean, the shot which takes the ball from closer to the hole to the inside the hole, right? So there are two shots. One is the ball, which the first hit, which takes the ball from the tee point towards closer to the goal, not inside the hole. And the second shot is taking the ball inside the hole, right? Marketing is the first shot. If you don't do good marketing, your second shot, which is the sales, the conversion, is not going to be effective. You will be really struggling in sales if you don't do effective marketing. And to do effective marketing, you need to really have right kind of a strategy, a lot of learning. Only then you can develop a lot of efficiency in these learning, I mean, in marketing. So the first shot, to effectively take the ball towards the goal, has to be what do you call supplemented with a lot of learning, a lot of practice, and a lot of strategy. Only then you can actually take the ball to the goal, right? So marketing has three basic categories. One is the attention. How do you create attention? Of course, I mean there are advertisement platforms, promotion campaigns, and brand building. So that all those things will create that attention. But that is not enough. It has to go to the next step, where is the marketing has to educate the customer. The customer is not educated. He is taking a risk buying your product. The customer has to be educated about you. The customer has to be educated about your services. The customer has to be educated about the industry per se. The customer has to be educated about your system and processes, what you are implementing. Unless these are not educated to the customer is actually taking a risk buying a product, right? And then comes to the third one, which is conversion. Conversion is actually the sales. So if the top two, attention and the education, is not done properly, the conversion becomes really difficult, and you will be spending most of the time in conversion, because your first two levels are not taken care. So marketing is a relationship building and a knowledge sharing platform, whereas sales is the final conversion, that is transactional. So unless you do a good marketing campaign, you cannot do a good sales. So I think the small business owners, we as small business owners, have to really concentrate on how to do effective marketing and relationship building. Second thing is third aspect of challenge which I see is engagement, talking time with the client. I mean, when I spoke to a couple of businessmen, they said the only time they speak primarily with the customer is on three fronts. One, they ask for more business. They will say, okay, sir, do you have more orders for me? Second thing is problem solving. There's a firefighting, and then you guys are solving a problem. Third is payment follow-up. These are the only three occasions when we really talk to the client. This is not engagement with the customers. If you need to talk to the customers, educating him, right? So are you engaging with the customers on a day-to-day basis? That's very, very important. Like, for example, it could be even on a festival or occasions or anniversaries, birthdays. If you are a retail customers, birthdays, anniversaries are really very, very important to keep reminding the customer about your brand. If you are a B2C customers, even there it is important that you connect with your customers and then keep talking. See, people buy from people. Unless you build that relation with the people, I'm not too sure how far you can drive this against your competition. Third is how do you talk to the customer? So I call it as a talk time with the customer. So the more talk time with the customer you spend, the more easier for you to build a longer relationship with the client and then beat the competition. So you can talk about educating. You can talk about a webinar, about a webinar which is there in about your industry, which you can invite him for. You can talk about expos which your industry is organizing or you are organizing, and then invite him for and do some kind of an engagement platform there. Or even you can even do a kind of an experiential marketing. For example, my wife bought a watch for me from Titan showroom, and they invited me to the Titan showroom the next day, and they bought a cake and did the cake cutting and all that. See, I'm sold for life to Titan now, right? So this is what the corporates are doing. Why we as retailers or small retailers, we are not doing this, or small businessmen, we are not doing this? Because we think everything is an ROI. ROI, definitely marketing ROI can be give you a return on a long-term basis. So build your brand that way. So experiential marketing is one way of engaging with the customers on various occasions. Then events in your company. For example, you have an anniversary in your company. Why don't you invite a client? You have some puja in your company. You invite your client and build that relationship with the client. So these are the various ways you can do engagement with the customers. The other way of really looking at engagement with the customers is taking testimonies, video testimonies with the customers, doing some interviews with the customers on a video platforms, and posting these in various social medias and all that, so that he also gets a traction and you also get a traction, right? So these are the various engagement platforms which we can look at, developing a strong relationship with the client. The fourth aspect is digital presence. Most of the businessmen today I mean, I know of, they spend time, I mean, they spend their money in the name of digital marketing. They spend the money on a digital agency which gives them some kind of Facebook ads, or maximum they would spend on a digital this thing marketing. They're saying, I mean, they'll spend on Just Dial or Suleka or this thing. Those are all those are not marketing. Those are lead generation activities. Spending on Suleka and Just Dial to just get one new customer inquiry is not marketing. Making a website and expecting some leads to come in is not marketing. Marketing is much beyond that. So digital presence should be a 360 approach. Like, I mean, what are the various platforms, how you can, really capitalize on digital marketing? Like, you can talk about your industry blogs. You can talk about, a lot of blogs, micro blogs. It could be a micro blogs, new development, new product, new technology innovations, new ways to solve problems, new way to maintain your product and services. You can write blogs, you can write emails. I mean, how many of us actually have a lot of emails from all of our customers and do some kind of an educational, what you call, emails we send it to the client? We don't do that, right? So those are the very, very important things. So marketing, digital marketing is 360-degree approach. The ultimate objective of a digital marketing should be, to build a community of my customer. How do you do that? How do you do that? I mean, you can build a community only by knowledge sharing. People should listen to you. When people listen to you, they have a strong relationship. I mean, they like you, they don't like you. If they like you, they subscribe to you. And if they subscribe to you, then you build a community around it. And once you build a community, they're definitely not going to go out of the community. And in that community, you can keep pushing your new services. You can keep on talking to them. So digital marketing can really help you, if done in a proper way, in a properly strategize. If you properly strategize, it can really take you to the next level. So community building, knowledge sharing is what we need to really look at, focusing on in terms of digital marketing, not lead generation. Lead generation is a byproduct. So digital marketing purpose is not lead generation. Digital marketing purpose is marketing, real marketing. Build your brand, build your asset in digital, so that you you dominate the domain by giving expert advices. You dominate the domain. You establish an authority by really talking about your knowledge, your expertise, your micro domain, your customers. Give value to the client on your customers in digital marketplace. That's what really will take you to the next level. And fourth challenge for business owners is consistency. We take up something, especially on digital marketing front, even including me. I spent some close to 2 years identifying the right digital marketing agency, and even there I miserably failed, because I will experiment something and then I will say no, let's look at something else. So consistency is something. See, marketing is not going to give you short-term returns. It is going to definitely, the ROI has to come in the long term. I mean, you have to really wait for a long term to get the returns from marketing. So we don't really, I mean, small business owner does not really go consistent on, consistently they don't spend money on digital marketing. I mean, 360-degree marketing, what should I? Now, this is about the challenges and how do I overcome. Basically, I mean, I really feel that, you should start looking at spending that 3 hours time every day. You should start looking at avenues. How do you educate your customer, your client, and pick up one micro domain where you can really become your champion. So something, I mean, they call it as a blue ocean strategy, right? So pick up your own one market and then really go all out, becoming a master or becoming an authority in that domain. So that is the third one, and I mean that is and fourth one is like having a digital presence, 360-degree digital strategy, because that's what is going to give you mileage in the long term. So as I said, I mean the next thing I'm going to talk about is I learned a new concept called teaching is marketing. So I'm forming a small Facebook group, private group. It's basically going to be a private group, which is called Teach to Reach in Facebook. And what is the objective? What is the outcome which I'm expecting out of this group? One is I'm trying to see whether we can get 3x clients without selling. Selling is one thing which we hate, right? So my what you call focus here is how do we get 3x clients without selling. So we build our marketing assets so powerful that we don't have to really go out selling. That is one outcome which I'm expecting. And second outcome is how do I help the businessmen dominate their domain by digital as well as offline marketing, and how do I help the third outcome which I'm looking at is like, how do businessmen or professionals get paid uh, double the amount without asking, by establishing the authority. And how do we do it? There are three ways. There are two ways which I am planning to do this. One is teaching, about digital, creating a digital ecosystem, primarily based on marketing technology. And the second is like, how do the modus operandi which I'm going to adapt is like, give a kind of an events and promotional strategy. So marketing, I'm going to be dividing it into two. One is the digital strategy, one is second thing is the BTL strategy, which I call it as like the event and the promotional strategy. So these are the two modes which we going to be talking about in this group. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to get connected again soon with better technology in hand. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye.